Despair by Prince Harry. I have no reason not to believe Harry in any of these stories that he's telling, but it is so philosophically self-contradictory that it's hard to take this book seriously. Prince Harry tells his life story from the death of his mother, Princess Diana, to the death of his grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II. I thought the first third of the book was really sad because he talks about his mother's death. She died when he was really young, and the circumstances were really awful. He talks about how he processed this grief and he just didn't accept it. He just didn't believe it. It was a lot more believable to him to think that his mother faked his own death so she could get away from the paparazzi and she'd be calling for Harry and William at some point. So it took him a long time to get over his mother's death. And as he talks about in the book, there's a general wisdom that time heals all wounds and time will improve things. And he's like, in my experience, that hasn't been true. This book is primarily an attack on the paparazzi and the press. And I think he's very justified in this, especially given what happened to his mother. He talks about how he's haunted by the thought that the last thing she saw in life was a flashbulb, as her car crash was hounded by the paparazzi. He talks about how he did a lot of stupid things when he was younger and how this was magnified and brought up by the press and broadcast all over the planet. This is the part of the book where I was the most sympathetic to him. Because honestly, how do you have a normal growing up and how do you become a normal adult when you live under this microscope? He has a lot of examples in the book where the press completely take him out of context on purpose just to get a headline, just to get money. And he says in the book, there was no ambiguity about where they are on the moral spectrum. Like, these are evil people in Prince Harry's mind. And I think he's pretty justified in thinking that. The problem that I have with this book is that here's a guy who just wants to live a normal life, be the dad, be the father, and be left alone. And yet he's coming out with this book and he's doing all these other things that put him and his family right in the center of the spotlight, and he's making millions of dollars off of it. He writes about how awful the tabloids are, and yet here he's given them a lot of material to work with. He wants to be reconciled to his family, yet he's saying a lot of things here that I'm pretty sure they don't want to be broadcast all over the globe. So I'm not sure what his plan is here in releasing the book, because it doesn't seem like it's going to get him where he wants to be. I think most of the people who read this book already have their minds made up about Prince Harry. I do not. As with most things of the royal family, I don't know what's going on. I'm a very much outsider. I don't know anything. But this book I wanted to give a try just because it seems culturally relevant. I was seeing a lot of interviews, a lot of people expressing very strong opinions. So I thought I'd go in with my blank slate just to see what all the talk was about. My main takeaway from the book is that I'm just really glad that I wasn't born into or anywhere near the royal family. Also, after reading this book, I haven't changed my opinion that this preoccupation with the royal family and this grand soap opera on the world stage, paying attention to it is a complete waste of time and an exercise in mindlessness. 2 stars.